just as you did today. Yes, I went around and offered everybody working on the investigation a cup of tea. Bread and company included. I remember it well. You were here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere with a little cart of yours. Interesting. And did anything strike you as strange around the time? Yeah. Gregory was singing the praises of Judy's tea, and I think he mentioned the saucer was cold. The saucer was cold. That means the cart was in the ice room. Was this moment when Miss Bound stole... Miss Bound, I believe this is when you stole the sculptures. I hate to contradict you, but the fountain room was full of witnesses at that moment, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting I somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room right under everyone's noses? That is precisely what I'm suggesting. Miss Bound stole those ice sculptures. She did it by hiding them here.
Take that!
It's in the freaking cart, girl. My father and Fender had no idea one of the sculptures were mere inches away from them. Because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around, Miss Bound. It was a hidden ice sculpture in a glass case.
Overruled.
Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How would a case of that size fit a serving cart? It would have been immediately spotted.
Objection!
Who said anything about a serving cart? Well, I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she used instead? I'm suggesting Miss Bound used this to transport the sculptures.
Take that!
And this is... This is a lift cart Miss Bound used to move the flavored ice sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago. It would appear that the very same cart is still here with us in this fountain. We originally brought it for use in a contest. Are you saying that Miss Bound loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto this cart and carried them off? I am. As you can imagine, all one would need to do is lay a case on its side and add a tablecloth. And it would look exactly like a normal serving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculptures around freely. Can it be? Holy moly, of course. That's why those saucers were so chilly. They were sitting atop a big block of ice. Dudes, how could you? Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the There isn't a scrap of evidence I stole the sculptures all those years ago now. And yet, I knew that no matter what I said or did, I'd always be under the cloud of suspicion. So you admit it. You admit that you stole them from Mr. Frost's room? Yes, I do. I took those sculptures in their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edwards correctly deduced, I dressed up the lift cart in a serving cart to do it, and slipped him in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around serving tea to everybody. In the end, I removed not only the sculptures, but the flavored ice zodiac blocks as well. Zodiac blocks? I feel as I've seen those myself. So that's what the other blocks were. The winter ring really is an exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago. And even though my father never saw them because they are already melted, Zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back then as well. When I finished moving the 2 ice sculptures and the 2 zodiac blocks out, I took 2 fresh empty cases to Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original 2 had been. Only the sculptures had been kept in glass cases, you see, to prevent them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they had been displayed as is. As stated in the contest rules, we were responsible for providing all display materials, including cases. I mean, it would have been easy for her to prepare those empty spares she swapped in. Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few other flavored iceworks in progress. I figured if I melted them down somehow, the resulting puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came into the winter wing today. I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite the confession. Indeed, and I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it. That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? What? How do you figure that? Oh my. I would have thought you might know at least that much, given that we're at a crime scene. I suggest you memorize the various statutes and limitations outlined in this book. Statutes of what? Oh, are we gonna have a workaround? What does this specifically say? Theft, 7 years from date of a crime. Separate time frames apply with regards to claims for damages, etc. Separate time frames for damages. Murder, 15 years from the date of the crime. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. Statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end. Statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. An offender has been actually keeping this trial somewhat alive. But also, suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. Yeah, it's definitely Gusto, and that's how we get him. It's Gusto, and she killed him, or tried to kill him for revenge. It's Gusto. Yeah, that perfectly sets it up. That perfectly sets up Gusto as the culprit 18 years ago. And because he was gone, he went back home, it's suspended statute of limitations. Simply put, Kay, prosecutors only have a certain amount of time with it in which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Let's take a closer look, shall we? So it's different for every crime. Murder, 15 years. Theft, 7 years. Ah! Yes, Mr. Bound stole the ice sculptures 18 years ago. It was too late to have her arrested for that crime. I don't believe it. Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves removal of evidence from a crime scene. However, as you yourself have pointed out, Miss Bound can no longer be prosecuted for her crime, rendering your revelation rather pointless, wouldn't you say, Mr. Edgeworth?
Objection!
Objection indeed. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Well, you see, the theft of ice sculptures isn't my principal interest here. I find the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be considerably more interesting. Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body? I am indeed. How do you keep a body hidden for 18 years without anybody finding it? It was in the ice. It was in the freaking ice. By hiding it in a very unusual way. Ooh, now this is interesting. Are you telling me that you know where the body has been for all this time, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not sure it's such a big leap. It's as big of a leap as you think it. What Miss Bound has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't just flavored ice that she removed from Mr. Frost's room back then. Very well, if you're that confident in this claim, let us put it to a test. Yeah, so it would have to be this. Statues might, like, it's in the statues.
Take that!
It is in the. I was thinking that for so long. It's like, it feels like the body had to be in the statues if it's turned up now. Like, it had to be frozen in order for it to be preserved. Like, if he actually died 18 years ago. A photograph of Mr. Frost's works. And of the victim's body, Your Honor. You will have to forgive me. I do not see what you mean. Where exactly in this photograph is Mr. Frost's body?
Take that!
The Gemini sculpture? Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance. But in fact, it is Mr. Frost's corpse. Surely you can't be serious. I don't see anything in the photograph to support such a wild claim.
Objection!
That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body from plain sight. And what piece of evidence might that be? The court demands you present evidence that was used to conceal the body.
Take that!
One has a cloth from the autumn wing. Yes, when it's made to glow in just the right way, it's so visually convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone? Yes, dear. But you really can't make it look just like about anything, really. Even blazing fire. If it's the right shade of blue, it would make it look like ice. Yes, exactly.
Overruled.
Is it not the case that a certain special device is needed to generate those colors, so...
Objection!
Yes. Would you care to take another look at the photograph? It's literally sitting right there on the floor next to it. Oh, did you even look at the photograph when I presented it to you? You'll notice there's a small box connected to the bottom of the Gemini display case. That's one of the very light-emitting devices in question. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed its presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case. Which means Miss Bound had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was in effect a statue carved from ice. No! This can't be. Wait, you're telling me that when we took that photo of us in the winter wing... Oh no! That makes it even worse! Yes, when we're standing right in front of the body. But the body and cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were they found there if the body was supposed to be in the winter ring disguised as a sculpture?
Objection!
Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body had been hidden if it was found in as is. Miss Bound needed to remove Mr. Frost from the winter wing in order to throw us off the scent.
Overruled.
Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain. No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift card, the same card that had proved so useful in executing her original theft. What? I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it downstream into the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way, which is why only the cloths appeared at first. The cloths that Miss Gone discovered. And then the body followed afterwards once it had thawed enough. It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. But can you prove that it was me? Seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusations without proof, don't you think? Girl, haven't you realized we know at this point? What about an eyewitness? Think someone might have spotted her when she was moving the body? As a matter of fact, I do. The contradiction is in a piece of evidence that I was provided. It shed light on exactly how Miss Bound moved the body as well. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegation? Of course. I have a very compelling piece of proof right here. Then please present it to the court. What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bound acted as you claim? Now, it could be, in my eyes, two things. It could be pointing out the lift cart itself being wet right now, or it's the art that Larry did. It did mention a witness, so I'm more compelled to pick this.
Take that!
More drawings. And is that to me? Yes. Mr. West drew sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart we can see here. Miss Bound's serving cart. What about it? You don't see it. She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. Ergo, we know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body and the picture was being drawn. What? If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everyone. Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the color of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I'd originally thought that Miss Butts had made an error, but he assured me that it couldn't possibly be the case. The tablecloth appears to be light blue. Yes, the shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding underneath it. What? But the shape of the cart is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it would have immediately obvious the tablecloth is being draped over the body.
Objection!
Nor if the body had been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac blocks in the winter room. Place one of those in a lift cart and would easily muster as a regular server cart, wouldn't you agree? Goddess of justice! Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago. I didn't expect you to deduce all that from a single simple sketch. But a sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it? You needn't worry about that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butt's artwork. Once you had disposed of the body, your servant cart became a simple lift cart once more. It was exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. And without a servant cart, you had to find some place to put your chocolates. My chocolates? The one I was handing out? As we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. But the chocolates you gave us came from your pocket. Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty though. Why didn't you suddenly feel the need to put the chocolates in your pocket, Miss Bound? It was because you no longer had the serving cart to put them on. That's why. What now? One moment, please. You have explained what Miss Brown did with the chocolates in the lift cart. But what about the tablecloths? Where did it go? It wasn't a tablecloth. It was the color tarp. Indeed. If stashing the chocolates in her pocket was the only solution she could think of, doubt Miss Brown would have time to dispose of an entire tablecloth. Well, Mr. Edwards, do you have an answer for me? Miss Brown didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth. In fact, it's right here in front of us. Perhaps you would care to enlighten us. Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Brown used to hide them? It's in... Wait, is it not in a fountain? And there's no doubt in my mind. We found it in... Oh! Oh, okay. She's wearing it. She's literally wearing it. Miss Brown has a tablecloth on her person, and in plain view, in fact. In plain view? No, surely you don't mean... Miss Brown. It's a tablecloth around your waist, isn't it? And given that the Zodiac blocks weren't kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been direct contact with the ice. All we need to do is confirm my theories to test the cloth for traces of the sugar in Mr. Frost's work. And the game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to complete. You won't need to test the tablecloth. Everything you said is true. I stole Delicia's Infesticide Ultra and moved to Mr. Frost's body. It was me. It was all me. Delicia, I'm so sorry. Larry, this is not the time to be making silly faces back there. This is a very serious moment. Last week, I went into your bag and took it. And then, I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he had tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play. Judy, you... Oh my gosh. But dudes, why? Weren't we supposed to be on the same side? All fighting together for free Samson? We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I'd finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but... Why do it this way, though? It's not like you. I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I've caused so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us the true culprit in the IS-7 incident was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, it became more than entries in a confectionery contest. It became the final works of Samson's favorite artist. I couldn't allow them to just melt away. No, not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't possibly let anybody near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to. I just put them in cold storage for safekeeping. But what I actually done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures?
So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures.
Yeah, not a surprise. Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody. Never. Yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body, and Samson was found guilty. After all he'd done for me, and he was my family, my only family I ever had. The most important person in the entire world to me, and I... James. After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago, and when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check up on the sculptures, and that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired. So I did what I did today, because that was the only way I could think of to make things right.
It seems I've misunderstood her intentions. Everything she's done really has been all for Mr. Tangaroa's sake.
Hey, what are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth?
Something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing? The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago.
Yeah, I wonder what she had in mind.
She was trying to prove that Mr. Tangaroa was innocent. Miss Bound's ultimate goal must have been to find the true killer. She could have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit. Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Tangaroa cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer, and if the police find a body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew the body was hidden in the icework. They would have freaked out thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running, yeah? Exactly. But Miss Bound ran the risk that the true killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst case scenario, they might have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting vital evidence at risk?
Oh, I see what you're getting at. You're saying that's why the autumn wing was all wintry, maybe.
I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident.
And it's gusto. No. That would mean the real killer was...
Overruled.
Enough. Not another word. Do you realize the implications of what you are saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusation you are clearly about to make? Yes, ma'am.
Miss Bound has set a trap for Mr. Frost's killer. And that whoever found themselves caught in the trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. But I lack the evidence to support such an assertion. To accuse someone without evidence is not to be done lightly, so... Should I really go ahead and make my accusation and name Mr. Frost killer nonetheless? Heck yes. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I need to seize the moment. Yes, Judge Lavelle, I'm prepared to stand behind my accusation. I know exactly who it is to blame for the IS-7 incident.
Take that!
Mr. Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack and is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident. Gusty?
Mr. Gusto. Miss Bowne. As we have established, you knew that the opening of the gallery would lure the real culprit. You set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far?
You're very impressive, Mr. Edgeworth. Just like your father. And of course, you're absolutely right.
Then perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened to your own words.
Of course. I've nothing to hide anymore. So I might as well tell you everything.
And this will also help explain like her activating the sprinklers in there to a degree. It's like the water from the sprinklers could help melt away the statues at that point.
As you said, I set a trap in the gallery, here in the gallery, to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure the door to the Autumn Wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening time came, I went around to unlock the doors of the various rooms. I found that Autumn Wing had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door, I thought. Well, it frightened me.
And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to the poison gas trap.
When I heard that Mr. Gusto was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left for the police to find was Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan.
Dudes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? You could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this.
Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so very kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess, so it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took, as long as I could get Samson out of the awful place.
Judy, Judy, Judy.
18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it had reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again. So I worked to set off a very public incident here in the gallery, in front of many witnesses as possible.
I'm so sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory, I let you all down. Fender, this can't be easy for him.
No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edwards, Mr. Fender, I hope you can one day forgive me. Whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it.
Well, you're going down for attempted murder if he's still alive. You did try to kill a man. Doesn't matter if he committed a crime. You still tried to kill a guy, so...
May I ask for one thing? Is that you simply must clear Samson's name.
The way the truth of the past 18 years had come like unexpected to say the least. And yet, it's only set us down a path towards an even more shocking end. Miss Bound, are you feeling a little calmer now?
Yes.
Good. Then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law.
Yes, I understand.
Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangaroa's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit is really someone else, we have a duty to reinvestigate the case.
Overruled.
There is nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place in the official IS-7 incident records. Girl, were you not listening? Were you not listening to what was just said? We now have reason to believe a false conviction was handed down. A man that did not commit the crime is sitting in jail for 18 years. He needs to be released. We need to investigate, check it out, and if he's not guilty, he needs to be freed. And right now, there's nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bounds at her word. So our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself.
Objection!
Official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gavel, especially since there are those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts.
Overruled.
Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked just such a prosecutor?
Literally Manfred von Karma. Literally him. It's so obvious. That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked, seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now.
Literally, girl. His body was not available to the prosecution. They pulled up an autopsy report, like, oh, here's the autopsy report. Girl, it's kind of obvious it was fake. There's really something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth.
How so exactly?
By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs. That's how. Are you saying you knew Von Karma was manipulating evidence and creating false evidence and you let him just do as he pleased? Is that what you're saying? Well, she wasn't on the committee back then, but perhaps this time you understand how I know the committee sees this case. The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tanjiro convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit is behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder.
No. And this is how the committee sees things, is it? How would you know? You literally just learned all this new information and have not gone and consulted them.
It is, as always, I act solely in the service of law and order.
Sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in the service of the committee in covering up the truth. If I can't change her mind, there will be no saving Mr. Tanjiro or Miss Bound.
Hold it!
Are you suggesting that Mr. Tanjiro and Miss Bound killed Mr. Frost together?
Why not? You can even imagine that they split their roles. Just us. Mr. Tanjiro could have been the one who committed the act itself, while Miss Bound was to remove the body. What? I thought that we could... You stole his corpse and hid it for 18 years. Is it really so surprising that you might be considered something?
Miss Bound has freely confessed to all her crimes. Now is not the time to speculate on what else she might have done in the past.
Very well. Let us pass judgment on what we know she did in the present.
Do we have any way to just shoot this down?
Hold it!
Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder?
No doubt because he suspected her of being the real killer. He may have entered what he thought was the Winter Wing, simply to see the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly worked.
Objection!
Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning?
Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition. It would be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there is little we can do for now.
On the contrary, there's plenty we can do.
You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you.
Hold it!
All the evidence you need.
Not matter. In the matter of the IS-7 incident, we have a body, a murder weapon, and 2 suspects. As for the poison gas attack, we have the sources of the 2 chemicals in Miss Bound's confession. And as for you, Mr. Edgeworth, we have enough evidence to see that you yourself will have to answer to the committee in a formal hearing.
What?
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
Don't worry, Mazzarino. Nothing else, you're always more welcome than Edgeworth & Co. Your Honor, I greatly appreciate if we would stay focused on the matter at hand.
Of course. Now, where was I?
Hold it!
You really mean to assert that there are no loose ends to investigate? None at all.
All the evidence has been examined at length, and there is nothing more to be learned from them. Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Miss Judy Bound.
Your Honor, I'm certain there's something still needs to be examined.
The hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires further deliberation now. Assuming there really is anything left, that is.
This isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. There's still one thing we don't have an answer to. And it's up to me to point it out to Judge Cavell.
Yeah, okay, I think at this point...
Let's press all the statements. Let's see what happens. You accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified reports, and why don't you reinvestigate the case?
Because the goddess of justice is never wrong. Her verdict remains true, despite Mr. Von Karma...
Despite blatant evidence tampering? You sure your precious goddess is into that? Almost makes you think that the committee might have other reasons for not wanting to look into it again.
Further investigation is simply unnecessary since the goddess of justice has already spoken.
Is that right?
Hold it!
I believe it was a confession that sealed Mr. Tangaroa's fate in the end. A confession secured by Mr. Von Karma, which should be surely cast doubt on the final verdict itself.
Overruled!
Samson Tangaroa confessed to the initial investigating officer, one Detective Ian Seitman.
They keep name dropping this guy. I think he's going to be relevant in one of the next 2 cases. Calling it now. He's going to become relevant, I am sure.
The official record states that it was his interrogations that led to the conviction. Therefore, all I can say to you is that the goddess of justice has already spoken. Unbelievable. She just won't budge at all. Are these committee guys really that big a deal?
In many ways, they are a prosecutor's worst nightmare.
So kind of like how the police are to a great seat.
Funny how you don't seem to have a problem working with the police when it suits you, though.
Okay, so it's this statement. It's got to be this statement. Now, what evidence doesn't explain something? Like, I tried to blowtorch, that didn't work. Like, I feel like that should have been it, but it didn't work. Alright, game. Didn't think this was relevant. Shut up, Madsy. So it's going for the fact that there's blood in the Gemini case.
Objection!
I'm afraid there is still one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this?
What is it?
The test results carried out on the liquid in the bottom of the Gemini case in the winter wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence.
I thought they said it was the victim's blood already. I thought sure that was already stated. I thought it was mentioned at some point. There was blood in the Gemini case. Why did I not hear about this from Eustace?
Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning to tell Mr. Winner about it myself, of course.
You kept this to yourself until now, despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever. Mark my words, the committee will hear all about what you've done here today.
As ever, my interest in the truth, and if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end.
That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace. Guess who's back, losers?
And look who he brought with him.
It was a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive.
Gusto.
He made it.
You're the ones who found me. Yep, long time no see, Gusto.
You're that attorney's assistant. You have grown. You have an assistant of your own now.
Assistant? No, he hasn't got to get just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service.
Fate moves in mysterious ways. I am in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, wouldn't be here to thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what's really happened 18 years ago.
Huh? What are you talking about?
You figured out quite a bit while you were out cold. Including the fact that you're probably the guy who offed poor Artie Frost.
Hey, sweating. What? Is that true?
Miss Bound set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with the poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us your own words of what happened back then. Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent. Oh, it's not that. Gusto here is a fan of the old meditation, you know. Om and all that jazz.
Wow, he's sleeping while standing. Seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent.
Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, okay? Hey, that's no old pal. How about you snap out of it and tell us what went down way back then?
I was caught in a girl's trap, so I must be the killer. Is that your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here. Indeed you are, Mr. Gusto. And there's no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured they have no authority here, and that you may pay them no heed. At least somebody here seems to be on my side. Judge Verity Gavel, it is a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I will assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth? Fine. You want me to prove my innocence, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to.
Objection!
So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavel. You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you to hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record.
I believe only in the infallible judgment of the Goddess of Justice.
Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in the court of law. And as long as there are those who would use the law to their own advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you.
We shall see about that. What do you advise, Judge Gavel? It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically by opening the Pisces case lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us? Understood. Came here to see frost sculptures. Simple as that. I make a mistake with the opening times and arrived half-hour early.
Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk at that around that time?
I had left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the while the gallery was all the way up until the gallery opened. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure all the wings were locked up tight, all except the autumn wing, that is.
I see. You did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went.
Sneaking into the building is pretty suspicious, however you slice it. Silence in the courtroom. I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that his witness is lying. The courtroom? You know this is an art gallery, right? Mr. Gusto, if you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case. I wanted to see Frostwork up close, so I went to the Gemini. Sorry, I guess it was supposed to be Pisces statue. Why'd you say Gemini, bro? And I saw that the lid was frozen on tight, so I grabbed the blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. When I finally got it open, gas came pouring out.
Fascinating. Is the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of.
Yeah, everything sounds like a lie, kind. I myself am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it. Come on, there must be something. It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I am not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing.
Objection!
She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. You knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, old pal.
So you believe that self-confessed criminal?
Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer.
You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me. But I had no reason to kill him. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise. Can you really not prove that he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth?
The motive is the kids. This has got to be the motive. Perhaps Frost did, kidnapped his son. Or something. Like, something along that line. There's got to be some connection at that point. That's why we have this photo. Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas. That much is indisputable. Yet no matter how how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past.
Yeah, but then what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do.
You're right. May not have evidence. We have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Gusto killed Frost, he must have had a reason. He claims to not have a motive. Can that really be true? That can't really be true, can it? If he did it, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun. In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about a probable motive too, remember? Their relationship had broken down for some reason. Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can now. We can put the pieces together. I think the picture we're looking for might emerge. Yes, I think you might be right. Need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident, especially the question that never got answered. Miss Stone denied that the finger marks on the frame were hers. What if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps he wanted to take a look at the ultimate cookbook for himself. Supposed to be put in a new cartridge. Seem to think there should have been more shots left in there were. My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. The absence of evidence is the only way to the truth. Okay. Could it be these two? Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not?
Huh? So you know my little secret.
Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs, while you were in charge of the flavor. Is that correct?
What can I say? I still had a long way to travel on the road to becoming a master confectioner.
But you only collaborated up through the semifinals. Something changed after that.
We both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tangaroa.
Objection!
Then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final?
What grounds do you have to say that?
Your own statement, made to Mr. Von Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the final. Dun, dun, dun. So why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return? I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason. And that's that. And that's that. And that became the basis of your motive for the murder.
Ugh! That's not how it was. Sure, we stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly.
You stopped working together?
In a friendly way? Kind of hard to imagine that. But okay. Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? Do you think I strolled into Tangaroa's room and killed Frost? Couldn't have killed a man while Tangaroa was there working on chocolate pieces, could I? Yeah, you couldn't while he was in there. But guess what? There was a chance. So you'll see, it can't have been me.
I wouldn't be so sure. There must be a window of time when Tangaroa wasn't in his room. And I can prove that Mr. Gusto had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost.
Okay, so... I think it's the last combo.
Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal secrets.
Oh, that's what he's implying. That's why there's photos missing, because he took pictures of the inside of the book. That's what the game's getting at. That's why there's missing slides, because he was taking pictures of inside of the book.
What if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangaroa's camera to photograph the book?
It'd be the perfect crime. So much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops.
A sneaky shot or 20, huh? That could work. The only question is, when would he have done it? Good question. What about during the afternoon tea? Didn't Delicia say Gusto and Frost missed out on the little tea party they had? Which brings me to my next question. When do we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? Mr. Frost had kept himself inside his room after the contest had started. But he was gone by the time Miss Scone snuck into it to sample his work. But there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of afternoon tea. We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of afternoon tea, making tea time the only window during which Mr. Gusto could have killed him.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusto's story now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied. But things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon become to light at last.
Do you mean to say you have uncovered new evidence?
Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusto to open up a little about it. Open up to us instead. About it instead.
Oh, is it a mind game time again?
It is. Mr. Gusto, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you.
What is it?
You chose to make your entry for the final on your own.
I told you. I wanted to test myself. I wanted to prove I was the best in the world.
Objection!
If that were the case, you surely wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost?